very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. I'm Ritwika Gupta, and today the spotlight is on a legacy enterprise that's steering itself into becoming a future-focused powerhouse. And at the helm of it all is Shashwat Goenka, Vice Chairman, RP-Sanjiv Goenka Group, who speaks to me about the vision and strategy shaping the group's next chapter. Shashwat, welcome to ET Now Leaders of Tomorrow. It's a pleasure to be chatting with you today.
Thank you so much for having me, Ritwika. Such a pleasure.
So to begin with, Shashwat, I want to talk about the different aspects of your business and how that, tie into key sectors in India. But before all of that, tell me a little bit about your journey. Now, you started at a very young age, carrying the legacy, of a very, very big company, while also having the drive, in terms of your modern entrepreneurial thinking. And you've also diversified the group, So tell me, what has been your personal learning curve been like, and some of the key moments that you can talk to us about?
So I think starting off from the legacy, I think for me, legacy was never a ceiling. It was a runway, or more like a start to the runway, right? And it's really about what I do with that legacy going forward. And when I look at now it's been about 13 odd years since I've been working. It's been a very, very steep learning curve, to say the least.
Yeah.
I think right from the very beginning of starting out with being thrown in the deep end of turning around a company, to over the last 13 years, from turning around a company to starting up a business, to scaling businesses, to raising funds for businesses, to diversifying into new industries and sectors, and diversifying existing lines of business into what would be relevant for today's day and age. I think it's been a fairly interesting 360 journey. And I think the one thing that I have learned in this is learning never stops.
Right.
So I think it's been a very fascinating journey. It's been one that has been very exciting because it allows me the freedom to pursue my ambition, yet build on the legacy. And it's been one that so far has been filled with a lot of learning.
Fantastic. So let's talk about the business process management sector, BPM sector here in India. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it has moved from being an cost-efficient outsourcing hub to now a value-driven partner for global clients. So tell us, how have you seen the evolution, and what role do you see FirstSource playing in the bigger picture?
Sure. So FirstSource was one of the first few businesses that we kind of as a group acquired right after I graduated. Actually, this was in October 2012 when we acquired it. And at that time, it was a back-end vendor for all of our clients, essentially, right? Where they were outsourcing some of their back-end processes to us. I think over the last few years, what we've done is we've transitioned this business completely from being a back-end vendor supportive business to becoming a true partner with our clients and to really adding business value to them. So we're actually working and co-creating business plans with them on how they can grow, how we can help their journey of growth, and how we can be a partner in that. So I think what's been very interesting here has been that we've kind of grown from strength to strength with our partners, and that's reflective in the increase in the wallet share we've received from these partners.
Right.
And this is coming on the back of the better solutions we are providing them, and how we're partnering and executing with them on those solutions.
Right.
And I think as a company, we've transitioned completely from using tech just as a function or an enabler to being tech first, and now being AI first. And I think that's what's kind of enabling this journey for us.
Right.
If you look at where we are today with this business, we're we've got our highest ever order book, the highest number of the highest amount of sales pipeline, if I could say so. And I think in the last 15 months, we've actually won over $500 million worth of contracts. So I think we've come a long way from what we were when we acquired. But having said that, there's a long way to go.
So moving from BPM to FMCG, now founding 2Yum was one of the major, I think one of the first steps, right? Like for the group. Tell me, what were the key gaps that you saw in the market, and especially because 2Yum, it came as a challenger brand to some of the brands that were already existing, in the market, in this very competitive market. What was the thought process behind that?
Sure. So this was sometime around the end of 2016 when we decided we wanted to enter into the FMCG market in India. And we were looking at the next 25 years when we made this decision, because India is at a very pivotal point where there is a large chunk of consumers who are very young today. And in every country, when that demographic shift happens, that dividend is huge. And that is when consumption exponentially increases in any economy.
Sure.
So that's the long-term bet that we have taken on the industry. Having said that, like you said, it's a challenging space. It's got a lot of competitors. And so when we decided to enter into this space, there were two big spaces. One was personal care and the second was foods. And they're both roughly equal size at about 60,000 odd crores, growing between 12 and 15% CAGR. Right?
Yeah.
So these were the largest. And we said, okay, that's what we want to enter into. And so we chose food and we chose snacks as the category there. But we realized that we can't be a Me Too product. And therefore, we decided that we will go with the macro global trend around health.
Sure.
Right. And so that's what we launched with. So that's how we kind of challenged brands that had been in the market for very long.
Right.
With coming out with products which were at that point not considered to be available as packaged snacks. So we launched with makhanas. We had at that point launched with our version of khakras, which were healthy and multigrain and free from palm oil, all of that, right? And I think for us, the whole journey has been, how do you kind of get better for you snacks out in the market,
right?
Yet be value conscious, because that's how the Indian consumer is today.
Yeah.
And how do you do this at scale? So I think we've chosen categories which are inherently large and growing at healthy CAGRs. They are categories which have potential to not just play in the value segment, but to also premiumize. And I think that's what we're riding on.
And another sector where the spotlight is on is the specialty chemicals sector. You have acquired Aqua Pharma recently, and I want to understand, where are the opportunities in this? And is this a pivotal move, in terms of the more high growth sectors that you can talk to us about?
Absolutely. So I think for us, we've always been in the chemical space, if you could say so, but it has been more in the commodity space with carbon black, and then we diversified that into specialty chemicals as well and specialty blacks. But I think with Aqua Pharma and that acquisition, the endeavor was to go deeper into the chemical space. Because one, the chemical space is of course fast growing, not just nationally, but also allows for extensive exponential growth in global markets as well. And that was the vision behind going into this space. We acquired Aqua Pharma some time ago, and here I think there are three key opportunities that we see, right? One is in oil and gas chemicals and growing that business.
Sure.
Second is in green chemicals and specifically green chelates, and how can we kind of grow that, because that's again a very high margin category. And third is on phosphonates, which is essentially one of the key raw materials that goes into surfactants, it goes into detergents.
Okay.
And there again, there is a huge volume play and a margin play.
Okay.
So I think we're very bullish on this segment. And I think this is going to be much of a global business for us.
Right. And I think one of the other sectors which I want to talk to you about is the renewable energy sector for sure. I know that you're expanding rapidly in the renewable energy space, from solar to wind, and to green hydrogen as well, right? Tell me, what is driving this shift? And also, what does it really say about India's larger push towards clean energy?
So I think when you look at the energy space, it's not new to us.
Yeah.
We've always been in it earlier with our thermal generation and distribution, right? And I think the idea for us today is, the first step actually is to kind of convert all of our distribution to coming from green sources, right?
Sure.
And that's going to be the first push that we are making. So it's going to be a fair bit of growth in this space. We are very bullish on this sector. You'll also see a lot of aggressive capex from us in this sector, as well as growth in terms of revenue and EBITDA as well.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a combination of wind and solar hybrid, storage, starting off with that and then going into a lot more in this segment. I think when you look at India, I think India is growing rapidly, right? Today we're already one of the top 3 economies in the world, and we're on track to becoming even larger.
Yeah.
And I think as the economy grows, I think energy consumption is going to grow as well, right?
Sure.
And I think much of this is going to come from clean energy.
Right.
So I think our whole bet on renewable energy is not just on a whim or a fancy. It's really looking at India over the next many decades and being a part of that blueprint of India's energy sector growth.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. Today we are taking a candid look at ambition, purpose and the road ahead for one of India's most promising business leaders, Shashwat Goenka, Vice Chairman, RP-Sanjiv Goenka Group. Shashwat, you earlier spoke about the role of technology and how you are also adopting that. And when we talk about AI and technology, it's like disrupting traditional industries across the board. So how are you, embedding that, into your verticals?
Today, when you look at technology, and I'll speak more about AI specifically because today that's what it's kind of transitioning to.
Yeah.
It's not really a good to have. It's almost an essential, right? And it's not like you can create like an AI vertical or a department that looks into AI. Like, primarily earlier when there was IT or the IT revolution came about, every company set up an IT department and they were doing things, right?
Right.
I think today AI cuts across all verticals, cuts across all horizontals. And I think we are seeing application for that across everything, right from generative AI to now agentic AI as well, right? So whether you talk of First Source, whether you talk of our music business or our media business, the energy business, whether you talk of our FMCG business, our retail business, or for that matter, even our chemicals and manufacturing businesses. I think across all of them, we are seeing massive integration of AI. And while I'm saying we're doing a lot, I still think we're just scratching the surface. I think there's just so much more to be done. And AI is evolving at such a rapid pace. And it's really on us as business leaders to also continuously evolve at that speed as well. And I think talking of AI, something very interesting as well is with AI comes a lot of disruption. And so we have to be very aware of how AI impacts each of the industries we operate in. And I think that's been our endeavor.
Sure. Could you just elaborate a little bit on how AI is impacting each of the industries that you are focusing on?
So I'll give you a simple example from, say, First Source, right?
Yeah.
So historically, the business was a very full-time employee-based business, right? Today, we are talking about what is the value add we can do to you as a customer, independent of the number of full-time employees working on your account.
Sure.
So it's about the value add, a lot of which is coming from generative AI and agentic AI, right? And I think that's really the shift, right? And that's just one example, but it's literally across every industry, every sector. I'm sure you're seeing it in your space as well.
Shashwat, a lot of people believe that AI is also going to take up jobs. Do you think this is true, or do you think we need to work with AI and not against AI?
I think when, like 25 years ago, when the internet came about, when computers came about, people said the same thing, right? But did that happen? No. What did the technological change do, right? It essentially made us a lot more efficient, right? It made us increase our productivity. And I think for us, AI is going to do exactly the same thing. And that's what we're doing in the group. We're not using it as a tool to reduce headcounts or take away jobs. It's really about enabling every employee of ours to use AI to become a lot more efficient, a lot more productive. And I think with that, the end goal is that as you become more productive, you can actually achieve your vision much faster and therefore set out for much larger visions.
No, absolutely. And the theme for the show this season is Agility, Ambition, Ascent. And the reason why we kept the theme is because of the disruption that's happening around the world, the macroeconomic volatility, rising tariffs as we speak. There's just a lot going on which is disrupting supply chains as well. So I want to ask you, how does an entrepreneur today balance risk with ambition?
So I think the way I look at it is it's not really about balancing the two. I think the two go hand in hand, right?
Okay.
And I think when you look at today's global uncertainties, the geopolitical uncertainty and the geopolitical changes that happen and the speed at which they happen, you have to be ready, right? You have to be aware of what's going on. And more importantly, as businesses, what we do is we try and see how can you have a very strong balance sheet? How can you be liquid? How can you be, in a way, aware of potential risks and disruptions for that industry, for your business, right? And what is it that you could make of that opportunity? Because I'm a firm believer that with every uncertainty, risk, or issue comes a huge opportunity, and you have to be well placed to be able to grab that opportunity. And in essence, with every risk, you could say it helps fuel your ambition further, because it helps you achieve your vision faster if you are prepared for it. Right. And so I think that's how I would look at risk and ambition.
Our show is called Leaders of Tomorrow. Tell me, what does being a leader mean to you? What does leadership mean to you?
I think leadership for me means passion, it means purpose, and it means action. I think in a nutshell, that's really what it means to me.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Yeah.
So I think passion, but not just being passionate about things in general, but being passionate about a cause, a business, and seeing scalability in that passion, right?
Sure.
Purpose, because I think without purpose, you really cannot build anything that's long-term and sustainable. There has to be a guiding purpose and a principle. And I think without action, you could just be daydreaming, you could be dreaming on your ambitions, and nothing's going to fructify. So I think that's why these three.
So, our show is watched by a lot of young entrepreneurs, startup founders, small business owners, MSMEs. By way of, advice to them, those who are watching our show today, what would you like to tell them, that one piece of advice, in terms of how they can grow, how they can scale, and also navigate the uncertainties that are happening currently?
The one thing that I'd like to tell them is similar to what my mantra on leadership has been, right? Which is have passion, have commitment to that passion, see a scalable business opportunity in that passion, and have hunger, have ambition. Don't ever let that hunger or ambition die, because I feel as you start building a business and you reach one milestone, then another, then another, then another, people around you will be like, okay, wow, you've done so much. But don't let that influence you, because if you set out a path to achieve there, you need to get there and then go beyond that, right? So I would say that would be one, is don't give up on your hunger and your ambition.
Sure.
And if you achieve what you set out to do, push yourself and create a new threshold that you want to cross.
Sure.
And I think on the uncertainty point, I think uncertainty is the reality of today's world, and it's been a reality of business always. It's really about how can you prepare for uncertain times, how can you prepare for potential risks or disruptions to your business, and at the end of the day, how can you be agile? Because there's not everything that you can preempt, there's not everything that you can plan for, but it's really about how quickly you can adapt to what changes are required, and how resilient you and your business model are.
So, Shashwat, as we are wrapping up this interview, tell me, what is your long-term vision for the group? Where do you see, and how do you see yourself contributing, say, in the next 5-7 years?
I think I'll answer the question a little differently. I would say over the next 3 years, we want to be at a 2 lakh crore market cap. And I think that's the single vision that every person in our group is chasing today. We've got a couple of 100 action points across each of our businesses. And I think we're tracking them on a periodic basis, and we believe each of these building blocks, as we achieve them, we should be able to achieve our vision.
Fantastic. Well, more power to you, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.